Happy New Year, everyone. I hope you guys had a great time. This is the Matrix BJJ podcast, and I'm your host, Paul Tokuzolu. Today's guest on the show is Nelson Puentes. Nelson is the creator and owner of Inverted Gear Apparel. Inverted Gear was started in 2012 by Nelson, and they specialize in selling gis and other really high-quality jiu-jitsu apparel. In this episode, we talk about how Nelson got started, some of his early struggles, and advice that he would give now to people who are trying to start their own jiu-jitsu apparel company or just an apparel company in general. Nelson goes into a lot of detail, and I had a really great time talking to him. Personally, I learned a lot from this interview just about the behind the scenes from how an apparel company would work. I think you guys will get a lot out of this conversation. Please give it up for my friend, Nelson Puentes. Nelson, what's up? Thanks so much for being on the show. It's really great to talk to you.
Hey, good to see you. Good to talk to you.
So, your gis that you guys make at Inverted Gear, are they all bamboo or?
No, because then the pandas will eat them. That's the number one problem we have, is the loose pandas in the warehouse. So we have two models that are a blend of bamboo and cotton. There's 70% bamboo, 30% cotton. The idea is a lot of brands before us made bamboo gis, and like they all fail. Mm-hmm. Gis either shrunk too much, gis ripped. It was a mess. So we went with a blend, and it's been working out great. It's one of my favorite gis. It feels great. It's held up well. I have some jacket. I have the first sample we have. It's like 3 years old now, and I still wear it pretty often. It's a staple of my rotation.
Man, that's really cool. When you set out to make the company, did you want to do bamboo gear right from the start, or has that kind of evolved as the company has grown?
No, like I tell people, like I never planned to be doing this. I never planned to learn as much about stitching and cuts and clothing as I have. Bamboo just came up. I think the hemp movement started, and then we started looking into bamboo, and everybody was making jokes like, "Oh, fantasy bamboo, you need to look into that." So we made a few bamboo things. We're looking into bamboo rash guards. I wasn't sold on it. Like we had a few samples made. I didn't like the feel of it. And yeah, it's something I feel like we should have, because like we're the panda people. So like we'll keep a few things made out of bamboo. Some people dig it.
Yeah.
I think like the thing is like bamboo fibers, like the jury's still out on them, whether they're good for the environment or not so good for the environment. You look at the research, it's like some people are really against it. You gotta do like a lot of chemical treatment to get the bamboo into like a fiber. It looks all. If you look under the microscope, apparently it looks like very much like a rayon. Mm-hmm. So it's not something we're gonna go all in into. I still think the cotton gis are like a staple, and like that's what we do, and that's what the industry standard. So we're sticking with that for the time being, but I like having a small sampling of bamboo products.
Yeah, the bamboo material that I have is really good. I have some of the ones from On It that I really like. The shirts that they make with bamboo and cotton, It's really good. I'm gonna have to buy one of your bamboo gis for sure. I think that's gonna be my next gi.
Yeah, that is something I've been meaning to do, and we haven't pulled the trigger on, is start making a few bamboo shirts. But yeah. I have a friend that had like a t-shirt company a long time ago, and like also he was like all about the bamboo shirts, and I had a few of those, and like then I haven't thought about it in a while, bamboo shirts, but that's something we should look into. Especially we have one design is like a panda hanging out in bamboo.
Be perfect.
Makes sense.
Yeah, only makes sense. Is bamboo like? I'm by no means an expert on the jiu-jitsu clothing industry. I know a little bit. The Matrix co-founder Andreas, he knows much more than I do. But does it cost a lot more to make a bamboo product than a cotton product, or is it relatively similar? You know, is there a lot that goes into it that people might not know about?
For geese, price point is pretty similar. Our factory makes their own weave material.
Oh,
so
cool.
they just buy the the thread, and then like they'll weave it.
Yeah.
So the price point it's pretty close. It's a few dollars difference. So it's not
That's not bad.
It's not like a huge thing, you know. We just have to be careful with it. It's a lot. Like the first time we made it, the last step on the process when they were like dyeing the gi was like the gi had purple on it. I was like the first crowdsource project. They didn't seal the color right, and it bled.
Oh.
And like since then, we've been like very careful with it.
Yeah.
I haven't had any issues since, but I remember like we made 400 gis and about like 50 bled.
That
so
sucks.
it was like it was like a customer service disaster.
That sucks.
And it all happened is like we shipped the gis out. Like shipment arrived, shipped the gis out a week after I got married and went on my honeymoon. So I was in my honeymoon and like dealing with like angry emails and stuff, and my wife was like she would have killed me, but we got through it. Everybody got a replacement. We sent them a few shirts to make up for the inconvenience and the whole thing. But
that sucks.
I mean, it was scary because like we've only been around for like a year or two when it happened. So it's like everybody's like, oh, inverted gear geese bled, this and that. But now like 5 years later, everyone has forgotten about it. And
yeah.
We're doing good.
Things are going great. Have you thought about doing some hemp products as well, or are you kind of going to do?
No, same thing. Is like I think cotton is the industry standard.
Mm-hmm.
I understand. Like the hemp geese I've worn, they haven't felt like good.
I agree.
I like they've been like I've seen some really bad ones. So I was like, I really don't want to mess with this right now. I'll wait for the process to catch up a little bit. The factories get better at weaving with the hemp. Maybe we'll take the same approach we took with the bamboo and make a hybrid.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah.
I felt some. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say, in general, I love hemp for food, for everything that I've ever experienced with hemp is great. But for clothing, I don't know. I like bamboo better personally, or cotton.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's yeah. I don't think it's there yet for what we need it for. Like I understand it's like very strong, it's very durable, the whole thing, and then like people say
microbiome.
Yeah, antimicrobial properties and the whole thing, but I don't think I will have I don't have the time right now to really go into it and like get like the amount of samples I would need to get it where I want it to be, and like I feel comfortable selling it.
Yeah. What got you motivated to start Inverted Gear back in the day? Was it, I read on your website you said that you were kind of tired of the whole limited quality gis that you pre-order and then they show up a long time later. What else kind of got you into starting this company?
Oh man, there were like a bunch of factors. I always wanted to be like into business for myself. I always wanted to be my own boss.
Mm-hmm.
My mom says like I march to my own beat kind of thing. So when I was little, like I never liked school. I never liked being told what to do. So and like my dad has had like his own businesses forever since I remember. Like like restaurants. He had like a little computing company at one point. He always had like his full-time job, and then he had like these little ventures he would go into. He has a trucking company now here since we moved to the U.S. But so that was kind of like my role model. I wanted to do my own thing, like set my own hours and do what I wanted. So I always thought that was gonna be at one point I was going to school for exercise science, so I thought it was going to be like personal training, like, be a strength coach, like coach athletes, that kind of thing. Then I started doing, I fell in love with jiu-jitsu. I was like, oh, this is it. Like, I'm going to get my black belt. I'm going to open my school. Like, that's my path. And I was teaching at the purple belt. And one of my students designed a logo for me because guys wanted a jiu-jitsu logo for the school. We're affiliated under Alliance at the time. So they wanted to rock the Alliance patch and then Nelson Puentes Jiu-Jitsu patch next to it. So the first logo, like, my student was trying to draw is, like, I was, like, obsessed with going in Verde at the time. I was watching, like, all these Joleta videos online, and, like, I was friends with Dave Bass from Alliance in New York, so we, like, teaching, like, all this inverted triangle. It's like looking at what, like, Ryan Hall was doing.
Yeah.
So I was, like, obsessed with that inverted game. So the first logo was, like, me upside down, and then didn't look great. And then we found a picture of a panda upside down. And then we were messing around with, like, the panda sweep, the panda guard.
Oh, okay.
So my student made, like, the logo of the panda upside down, had, like, a circle around it, said Nelson Puentes Jiu-Jitsu. And we got some shirts made and, like, printed at the local shop, and they were terrible. So they were, like, really bad. Like, he didn't do a good job at them, but whatever. So we had those shirts and the patches, and we started wearing them at tournaments, and people kept coming up to me, like, hey, where'd you get that shirt?
Oh, that's cool.
I was like, where can I get that shirt? I was like, oh, I made it. Like, like, they would see the front, it was just the panda. The back said, like, Nelson Puentes Jiu-Jitsu. So people kept really asking me to buy the shirts. So I was like, it's like, maybe there's something to this. And then, like, I was reading, like, 4-Hour Work Week, and then, like, all these other business books, and, like, about being an entrepreneur and stuff. Then we went. Well, no, one of my students asked me, he's like, hey, he's like, what do you think about making gis with a panda on them? I think they will look great. And I was like, oh, man, maybe. So I started looking into it. Alibaba.com. Went in there, started looking for factories, like, reached out to 10 factories. 6 factories got back to me. Got samples made with 5, I believe. So I had to, like, go to Western Union, use wire money to Pakistan and China.
Yep.
Got samples made, and like that whole process is a story in itself. But eventually, like, picked a factory, put all my life savings into it, and made 100 gis. And, like, not knowing if I was ever going to be able to sell all of them, I was like, worst case scenario, I'll have, like, a gi for every day of the week or the month. So got the gis made, and somehow sold all of them. And then, like, made another 150, and then sold all of them again. And at this time, I'm still living with my parents. Gis are getting shipped to my mom's house, to my parents' house, and, like, I'm shipping gis out of the basement. And, like, I was teaching at the time, so I recruit, like, 1 or 2 white belts to come help me, and I would pay them a gi and, like, $50 for the day.
That's great. That's awesome. What did you do in the beginning to sell all those gis? How did you market them all? Was it word of mouth, or did you have, like, actual marketing back then? Marketing strategy? No marketing. I was terrible back then. So things that helped. I got the gi made. Gi reviews were big back then. It was like when it just started. It was like around 2012. Like, all the gi review websites were, like, very popular. Mm-hmm. So I got Mirkatsu saw my gi, and he liked the logo, so he actually asked me to review the gi. So I sent Mirkatsu a gi. He reviewed it. He gave it a good review. I had met Ken Primola at a seminar, so, like, I love BJJ was huge back then. So I sent him a gi. He reviewed the gi. I knew Jason Scully. I sent Jason Scully a gi for review, and he started wearing it, and he liked it, and he shared my page. Oh, cool.
And, like, like Grappa's Guide, like, those 2, like, Facebook presences were huge back then. Mm-hmm. And, like, also, like, back then the Facebook algorithm was different.
Right.
So whenever, like, you had, like, so many fans, about 50% of those fans saw it, like, no matter what. And then depending on how many likes it got, you see it more. Like, now is, like, way less. So just having, like, those giant pages give me likes was great. Somebody posted my gis on ShareDog and, like, got really good reviews. And just started little by little.
That's really cool.
Word of mouth spreading. I joke around all the time. It's like the first sale we ever had was from New Zealand.
Wow.
So that shows you like the power of the internet. I'm like, oh, I got a sell from New Zealand. I was all excited, cool. And then I was like, I have no idea how to ship something to New Zealand. So I was like, I gotta look into this now.
What were some of your early difficulties? Like shipping internationally, I know is a huge pain in the butt in general. Yeah. What have you done to conquer these demons?
Reading, just educating yourself, just knowing how the customs works.
Yeah.
Like the first time I got like all the geese shipped, I had like no idea I had to like file paperwork. Like no one told me I had to file paperwork ahead of time. Mm-hmm. That I had a thing coming. So like that was a thing. Like learning how to do all this. I have a broker now that takes care of it.
Oh, cool.
Awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So I just get a bill after everything's said and done. Like, the geese out of the warehouse, I get a bill and I just pay the bill. It's the best thing ever.
That's very like Tim Ferriss, 4-hour work week.
Early difficulties, man, like shipping labels. You're getting shipping labels. Like I bought like the shipping machine, like the little label printer. And like setting it up was a pain in the ass, and like half the time we like overheat, stopped working, so we had to like go back to the other labels and like print them again. Early website design. My website was didn't look like one of my students helped me out with the original one, and we were in I think Big Cartel, and for the amount of stuff we're doing and like the volume, Big Cartel wasn't good enough, or it wasn't back then. I think it's been updated a few times since then. We're on Shopify now. It's much, much better.
I've heard Shopify is really good.
Yeah. I love it. It's worth whatever we pay for it is worth. I have friends like, oh, how are you in Shopify? You're paying so much every month. I was like, yeah, but it never breaks.
Yeah.
Like, we never had an issue. And like the one time we ran into an issue, like I called, it was like they're Canadian, called Canada, and like 5 minutes was solved.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, early struggles is like, you getting shipping under control, getting a good system to like getting the orders out. At the beginning, we used to go like front of the post office. We're doing like at the beginning we're doing like we're still doing pre-orders. We're like trying to phase out of it, but it took a while for us to do that.
Yeah.
So we still have pre-orders at the beginning, like the first 2-3 shipments. So we would ship like 100, 150 keys in a day, and then you go into the post office. Like the local post office, like everybody's waiting in line, and then I come in with like giant bags full of geese, and the lady's like, "Go to the back, go to the back." It's like, why are you even doing here? And all those things, like we dealt with until we eventually got a warehouse, like a fulfillment company to take care of it. I think that was huge. Like growing enough where like we warranted a fulfillment company, it was great. Like so, I'd stop like going to the post office or UPS or whatever every day. And I had time to just work on other stuff, like, write blogs, do videos, do other stuff instead of just being, like, busy shipping stuff all the time.
Yeah. That saves a lot of time. I can imagine. And then you get to...
It was soul crushing for a while. But yeah, we got through it.
What point did you feel like you were making enough that you could start to get a warehouse or, all these other things that you just mentioned?
Well, the breaking point for me was, I believe it was 300 geese. We got 300 geese in my mom's basement, and we could barely walk. So we're like, okay, this is the last time we can do this.
Oh, that's so funny.
If we order more than 300 geese, they're just not going to fit in here.
Yeah. Yeah, you want to do bigger and bigger orders as you grow, and yeah.
I mean, now every time we order geese, we get a 20-foot container. So like that was a big step. Like when we finally got our own container. Mm-hmm. So in order to warrant that 20-foot container, you need about 2,000 and something geese.
Wow.
So that's our order size now. It's like 2,000 geese, like like a few hundred belts, a few hundred pants, and stuff like that from the factory in Pakistan. And getting there was huge.
That's a lot. It's a lot of geese.
It's a lot of. Another thing is like takes a while too. So like you're saying goodbye to like $1,000 of your money for for months at a time.
Yeah, I know.
So like my wife is like, all our money is going to Pakistan. It's like, the bank account is dry. I was like, well, we don't have a lot of keys.
Yeah.
Like it was like the first time we made like the giant order. It was like, it was tough getting all the money together.
Yeah.
But now they actually came and we sold them, and then they came again and we sold them. Like we're okay. But like the first year we did that, it was like, it was rough.
Man, that's a lot. That's an adventure right there.
Oh, it's an interesting life.
It's awesome.
There's never a dull moment. Like this year, we ran into a bit of trouble with the factory. We ordered geese end of May, beginning of June for them to be shipped in September. It was like 2,000 geese. So it's what I wanted to have for the holidays. So September comes, mid-September, I haven't heard anything from the factory. So I email them, say, hey, how's everything going? Blah, blah. They're like, oh, we're almost done. We're going to start, packing soon. Okay, usually it takes like a week or two for them to pack all the geese in boxes and get them shipped out.
Yeah.
So I'm saying for like 2 weeks. 2 weeks later, I say, hey, how we doing? They're like, oh, almost ready. Okay, like a week goes by. It's like, hey, like, what's up? Like, are they shipping or not? Like, can you give me a date? Oh, early November. I'm like, early November.
Wow.
The ship, because like, it's gonna take like 4 weeks. It's gonna take 4 to 5 weeks for them to leave the factory and get to a port in the U.S. And then they got clear customs. It's like gonna be another week or two.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm gonna have it like late December at this point. This is like, we're gonna completely miss the holidays. So
that sucks.
We had to split the shipment, ship whatever was ready, and through a plane. So air cargo, which is like super expensive. But at least we had something for people to buy during the holidays. And then you get inundated with like, hey, like you're sold out, what's my size? Emails.
Yeah.
So we took the hit. We got like half the cargo, and like still like we got what 1,000 geese a little over a month ago, and like we're almost out again.
Wow.
Yeah. So the second half of the shipment is coming. I think it's landing like in a week or two. Man. And then there's another shipment like already they're working on. So I would say like that's the other thing is like you order geese, and then as soon as you order geese, you gotta tell the factories like, okay, start making these now.
Yeah.
Because it takes so long. So I think one of the biggest struggles for like a young company is cash flow. Just having enough money, like having the capital and the foresight to like being able to order, and then just playing the game of like I think I need A2s or I think I need A5s.
Yeah.
Because it changes all the time. So like there's times like we order like A3 tolls. I'm not really selling, so I'm not gonna order more than 10. I'm gonna order 10 A3 tolls and like white, blue, and black because they never sell. And then like the time you do that, they all sell in the first week, and you're like, what the? It's like where did all these tall people come from?
Yeah.
Where were they hiding?
They all decided right now is the time. It's time to check out inverted gear. How do you figure out sizes? I mean, you just kind of explained a little bit, but like, how do you know? That's something I always think about.
It's an art. It's not a science. I have a few spreadsheets and I look at them, and it always ends up looking somehow like some kind of bell curve. So like A2 and A1 are like in the middle, and then like those are what you're gonna order the most, and then like both sides just go down.
Oh, okay.
So if you have an A0 and A5 and then like those are the smallest amount you're gonna order. A0 is a little tricky because like a lot of girls fall into that size. But we also have like the A00, A0 slim. So that's like that side of the curve is like a delicate dance to balance the three. And then you go to the A1 tall where like a lot of people fall into, and then A2 where the most people fall into, and then A2 tall where like you have all the talls. Skinny guys, A2H. That's the other thing is like we make half sizes. Mm-hmm. And like I think most companies do now. But like when we started, it was like there wasn't that many people doing it. Like everybody was still doing the A0, A1, A2, A3, A4, and A5, and like that's it.
Yeah, I know. It's not.
So you have like all these like tall, skinny guys or like the husky guys.
Yeah.
In the middle, and he's like wearing like terrible fitting geese or having to get them like alter. So
you gotta have that like A2 plus or whatever, or
yeah,
A3 minus.
Yeah, you know what's funny? The factory for years misspelled husky in our labels to husky,
That's pretty funny.
and I thought it was hilarious that we just left it. And, like I was waiting for somebody to call us out on it, and nobody did. But for years, our label said "8 husky" because I thought it was like it's the greatest thing ever.
Dude, I would love it if I got a husky shirt and it said husky. It'd be fantastic.
That's what I'm saying.
That'd be great. I see lots of jiu-jitsu clothing companies starting. I don't know if you spend a lot of time on Reddit, but I'm like
I love my Reddits.
Dude, I read it all day, and
yeah,
it seems like
a little bit after. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, it seems like every day there's some new person posting a gi that they just started a rash guard company, or they just started this or that, and they're saying, "Here's my new project." I feel like there's a lot. You know, there's a lot out there these days getting started, and I don't know what would you say to those people who are maybe just trying to enter into this business?
Be patient. Takes a time. It takes a bit of time to get the ball rolling.
Yeah.
The first year I was in business, I didn't take any money out. All I did was I have working other 2 jobs. I just kept putting money into it. So I think a lot of people go into it and they don't realize that part. It's going to be a long time before they're profitable.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they might be profitable the first time, and then they're going to spend the money, and then they're like, "Oh, I got to order stuff again." We're back to square one. Yeah, be careful sourcing your factory. Make sure you get in good quality, and it's finding a reliable factory is tough because the other thing is a lot of people use. I don't know if you get them on Facebook and all these dear sir or madam is let us present ourselves. We're providers of finest quality material.
Oh yes.
Yeah, so those guys a lot of times I've heard horror stories.
Really?
Yeah, there was a lot of times you just a guy in Pakistan sitting in a cyber cafe and then gets an order. And then they'll go down the street, find a factory to do it for you, get it done, and then they'll do it again. And then finally, the third time when you put a big order in, you'll never hear from them again. And he was never a real factory. He never had an address. Well, even then, when they have addresses down there, it's crazy. It's a mile north of the bridge. It's not a street and
not a real
system.
address.
Yeah, so it's kind of you're never finding that guy.
Yeah,
you're never getting your money back.
That sucks.
I've heard school provide schools you get oh no, it's I shipped it, and then they get a box full of newspapers.
That sucks.
They went to the trouble shipping 5 boxes full of newspapers. Yeah, it's crazy. So be careful selecting your factory. Look at the reviews. Make sure they have a real web presence. Take your time. If it's too good to be true, it's too good to be true. Us, shop around and know what stuff should cost. And you just have fun. This should be an enjoyable thing. If you're not, you shouldn't be in it for the money.
Yeah.
It's gonna be very stressful and it's gonna take a lot of work. So if you're not enjoying what you're doing and you don't designing new things and putting your vision out there, you shouldn't be doing it.
I think that rings true for most things in jiu-jitsu. Most of these projects that people are starting. One of the things that I'm really fascinated about, as you can probably see from jiu-jitsu podcasts, is people who are making a living in jiu-jitsu who are not academy owners or world-class, athletes who have all these sponsorship deals and stuff like that. I love talking to people like you who are doing clothing or people who are doing film I just feel like there's so many ways to make a living in jiu-jitsu. But they just, like you said, you have to really enjoy what you're doing. You can't just be be in it for the money, in it for the quick fix.
The more I travel, the more I meet people, I get invited places to go teach. I'm not a world breaker. I'm not a world champion. We joke around. Like my wife won worlds at blue belt and purple belt.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, nogi. So like when my mom introduces us to people, she's like, "Oh, it's like they both do jiu-jitsu, blah blah blah." Then she's like, "Hilary's a world champion," and then she looks at me, she's like, "He's not." I was like, "Mom, you can skip the last part." So
that's funny.
You'll be surprised. It's like if you're a good teacher, like you know how to explain things, you know how to break stuff down, and you're a nice guy, you're down to earth, and you truly care about people and like spreading the art, like you'll get invited places. You'll get invited to teach seminars. Like people will enjoy your company because like a lot of guys in the seminar circuit, like people meet him, they're like, what the fuck? Yeah. It's like this guy has a huge head, or like they want to be treated like a superstar, and a lot of people get getting graded from that.
Yeah.
They don't want to deal with that BS anymore. So a lot of guys like me are just like, okay, like you'd be surprised how far he's being cool. Thank you.
Oh right, yeah. I see you're doing like every single Globetrotters camp these days.
Yeah, Christian just keeps inviting me places, and I'm like, I think we can make that. Actually, we're I think June we're gonna take a break for like 6 months. I've been traveling like about every 3 weeks for over a year now.
Yeah, that's a long time. You've been going all
So in June, I don't know what I'm supposed to do when I'm home anymore. It's weird.
What was your?
I think at one point last year we haven't spent a Sunday home because like we've been traveling, and then we'd like travel to like visit my parents for the weekend or Hillary's parents for the weekend that live nearby.
Yeah.
We have moved since, and like now we live like 5 minutes from Hillary's parents and closer to my parents, so that we can do like shorter day trips. But yeah, last year at one point I was like losing my mind, but it's been like surreal the amount of places we've been able to travel.
That's a lot of traveling. What was one of your favorite places you went? I mean, I saw you went on the Greenland Globetrotters camp, right?
Greenland was interesting. I felt like a different planet. There were no trees. There was like no vegetation, like only moss. And we got there like early spring, so stuff had just melted. So it was like brown and gray, and just rocks and like brown moss everywhere.
Wow.
It was cool.
That's awesome.
The people were super nice. I hope I'll make it. I don't think I'll make it this year, but I hope to make it back there.
Yeah, I really want to go. I think my friend Ruin was on the trip with you guys.
Yeah, Ruin.
Yeah,
Ruin is that's another. Has he been on the podcast yet?
Ruin has been on the podcast 2 times. He is our.
Okay, I need to find those episodes because Ruin is the most interesting man alive.
I completely agree. He has been. He is our. Go ahead.
When people like tell me, it's like, oh, you travel a lot, you go to all these different interesting places, and in my mind I'm like, you should meet Ruin.
Yes, he's our only repeat guest so far.
Ooh, very nice.
High pedigree.
I was born in Chile.
Yeah.
So when Ruin found that out, like he comes, he's like, oh, you're from Chile. I was like, yeah, I'm from Chile. He's like, you know who Bernardo Higgins is? So that's like the Chilean George Washington, pretty much. He's one of the first presidents. He's like very important person, like Chilean history. Like he fought the Revolutionary War against Spain, and I was like, yeah, it's like I know who Bernardo Higgins is. Like,
of course.
Why do you know?
Yeah,
who Bernardo Higgins is? And he's like, oh, it's like in Ireland, in Sligo, they have a statue of him because his dad was like from that town, from that city in Ireland. I was like, what? I was like, I had no idea. And then like I put 2 and 2 together because I seen like all the paintings of him, like in the school books and stuff. He has like red hair.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, that's why there's a ginger in Chilean history. Like his parents are from Ireland.
That's so funny. Ruin is such a character, man. He's the best.
Yeah.
He's probably listening right now. So, hi, Ruin.
He probably is.
Yeah, he probably is.
He's somewhere. Yeah. Let's see. Outside of Greenland, what's the other place I like? I really like Copenhagen. I think Copenhagen is such a cool city. We went there twice. The first time we were there in the winter. We were there for New Year's before we traveled to Austria for the winter camp last year.
Mm-hmm.
That was like my first time in Europe. No, second time. I had gone to the UK before, but I just loved it. It's such a cool city. You can walk everywhere. Public transportation is so good.
Mm-hmm.
Food is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I love smoked fish, so I was in heaven.
Man.
I was in smoked fish heaven.
That's awesome. Yeah, I have not
Yeah.
been to Copenhagen, but I've been to lots of places that are very
Okay.
similar to Copenhagen. Like a
Come on,
lot
man.
of
It's a
places
short
in
trip for you.
Norway. Yeah, I know. So I've got to go. I don't have any excuses.
Yeah. Other cool place. Let's see. Japan was really cool for me.
Oh yeah.
Korea. Like that Asian trip was really cool. We got to hang out in Guam for a few days. Everybody's super cool and everybody's super into jiu-jitsu.
Really?
And oh my god, they're like that academy's tough. Stefan Roberto, Steve has a super tough team over there. Purebred in Guam, man.
What-
We train every day when we're over there. Like we beat up by the time we left. I was like dying between the heat and the tough rolls.
You wouldn't think that.
Oh,
think
they're
that.
super into it. It's awesome, and like their tournament's getting really big. They have Mariana's Open over
Okay.
there every year, and like they put like a big cash prize out, so that you get like all these tough black belts flying into the island.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's super
didn't
cool
know
for like
that.
this little island to be like that awesome. But
Huh.
yeah, it's if you ever get a chance to go to Guam, like you're anywhere near Asia, you gotta take that little hop over to the little island
For
jiu-jitsu.
sure. I didn't know that.
Japan was really cool. Kyoto. I always want. I've wanted to go to Japan since I was 6 years old.
That's
Like
awesome.
I would talk like Chile. One of the TV channels in Chile when I was little would play a lot of anime,
Yeah.
like dubbed to Spanish. So I was like watching Japanese anime since I was 6. So I was like, oh, I want to go. Like I would tell my mom, like little kid growing in the south of Chile, we're like not very well off when we were little. Like my family had some tough times. So, like we didn't have that much money. So a 6-year-old telling his mom, like, oh, I'm gonna go to Tokyo one day. I'm gonna go to Japan. My mom was like, oh yeah. He's like, where is he gonna travel? Like she would like talk to me where I wanted
Yeah.
to travel and stuff. So when I said bye to my mom to go to Tokyo, like she started crying.
Aw.
Like she remembered, like 6-year-old Nelson telling her he was gonna go to Tokyo.
That's cool.
So that was that was
That's
really
so
cool. I was in heaven.
That's awesome.
I ate sushi every day. I had like noodles, had udon and ramen. I had everything. So it was awesome. Got to practice. I whenever I travel, like try to learn a little bit. Like I'm studying German right now, and my pronunciation is terrible.
Right. Me too.
But some Japanese syllables, the pronunciation is very similar to how you would say them in Spanish.
Yeah.
So I was told my Japanese pronunciation was very good, even though my vocabulary was like limited to thank you,
Yeah.
good morning, stuff like that. But I really enjoyed it.
That's really
And
cool.
I think one of the coolest places we went was Sardinia, little island coast of Italy.
Mm-hmm.
They had a camp there last year. I'm not sure they're coming back, but the guys from the island actually have their own camp. And if anyone gets a chance, it's like such a beautiful place. The water is like super blue. Wine is amazing. Our routine was we stayed there after the camp. We stayed there for a week teaching at the local academy.
Oh, that's awesome.
We're in Oristano. The academy name is Stardust. So they had a place for us to stay. We would walk to the academy. It took us like half an hour to walk. We were just walking everywhere. We walked there, teach class, walk to the local market. Would eat like fresh seafood, like right on the stall. Like he was like opening up like clams and
That's so
mussels and oysters.
Cool. That's so cool.
And then we walked out, and then like in the plaza there was like a citrus tree. They had like kumquats. So we got like kumquats off the tree, eat a few kumquats, then stop at a cafe for like coffee. And like the one day we were teaching at night, I would drink like, a little bit of wine, take a
Yeah.
nap. Oh, it's amazing.
Sounds like paradise.
Yeah, and then
Sounds
at
pretty
one
great.
point we get the email done for Inverted Gear doing all these activities.
Right. Work never stops. It's always,
Yep.
man.
I mean, that is the other thing is like once like it took like years to get to the point where we were able to travel and just work from the laptop. So now that it's all set up, I'm like, okay, we gotta do this until the wheels fall off. It's like right now, it's like me and my wife are young and we can travel. We don't have any kids yet, so
I can
gotta get it
relate.
done.
I can relate. What are some things that you do to like still stay productive while you're traveling?
I just try to ahead of time like figure out like when I'm gonna get the work done. I like
Yeah.
commit to that time.
Oh, okay.
So like it's not like I plan like I'm gonna be in Germany. So like January, we find out January 1st, and just usually you just get it done middle of the night over here. So you just get it like as soon as we can in the morning, just get it done.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm also it's like I'm always, especially when we travel over there, I'm waking up like super early, no matter what.
Right.
Like the first few days. So you just commit into like that early time. You just, like being able like either find a hotel room or cafe nearby with Wi-Fi. You just get in there and knocking out an hour or two of work, and then like maybe one more pass at night, and then figuring out like just take a quick look. Anything's urgent? No, I can wait until tomorrow. Okay, I'm gonna need an hour or two tomorrow, and I'll do it at this time. And you just committed to that time. I think that's what's worked best for us.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the same time, when like you're doing these trips, you don't want to be. You want to enjoy the trip and like do things,
Right.
but like, also you gotta get the work done. But you don't want to be stressing about it all like the rest of the day. It's like, oh, I wonder if everything's okay, whatever. So it helps, like my peace of mind is checking things like first thing in the morning, getting everything done, and then taking like one more pass in the afternoon, like see if anything urgent has come up. And then like my business, like gi emergencies are not
Yeah.
are not a big deal.
Right.
Usually the only thing I worry about is like sometimes like people order something and they pick the wrong size, and we try to catch it before it goes out. Otherwise it's like a bigger pain.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's stuff like that we try to catch as much as we can. But if it doesn't happen, and we'll take care of it another way. But intercept it or something.
Right.
And that's it. And I have taken pictures of my offices. So like my laptop and like what I'm looking at as I'm doing email over the year, and like some of them are pretty cool.
What's one of your favorite ones?
Let's see.
Think of off the top of your head.
The Greenland one. We were like staying like pretty like we stayed. Jason is the guy that runs the camp. We stayed at his mom's house, which is like outside. It's one of the newer neighborhoods outside of Nook.
Oh, cool.
So she had like a cool view of the bay and the rest of the town.
That's cool.
So you have like these bright color houses popping up and like into the rocks, like into the ocean. That was cool. I took one. We just got back from Chile, and we stayed like near the beach. So I was like, this hotel had like a couch facing the ocean. The ocean was like 50 yards away. And I just did my email there with some coffee. That was a good one. What was the? Yeah, let's see. What was my favorite one? I mean, coffee shops in Copenhagen are always good.
Yeah, for sure.
I like the pastries over there.
Man, I think you're going to really enjoy Germany. Is this your first time coming for...
Yeah, first time to Germany.
Wow. Man, you're going to have a good time.
Yeah, it's going to be John all the time. No 9.
Yeah.
Only yes.
I think you're going to like it a lot, man. Their beer is incredible. You have to try.
Yeah, I try not to drink beer when I'm home because it makes me really fat.
Yep.
But when I go to Europe, I was like, I have to do it.
It's the best. It's I was the same way. I hated beer in America. I hated it. Never drank. I mean, I drank sometimes, but most of the time I didn't at all. But over here, it's different. It just tastes so much better. It's higher quality. I don't feel like...
last time we were in Austria, so I was drinking Stiegel.
Oh, yeah. It's really good.
I was drinking Stiegel like it was water.
Really good stuff.
Yeah.
I gotta go, man. I'm really sorry.
Huh? No
Is
worries.
there anything you want to promote before we take off?
Let me think. No, but we're sold out right now. We almost out of everything, but we have some cool projects coming up next year. I swear we're getting everything restocked. I put all the orders in. Now it's a matter of stuff arriving and getting uploaded on the website. So if you're trying to buy something right now and it's out of stock, I'm sorry. We're working on it now, and we'll have it up as fast as possible. And just thank you for taking your time to listen to this and shopping. If you own any Inverted Gear stuff, I appreciate it. Thank you very much, and hope to meet you, Paul, and if I meet any of the listeners at a camp or anything coming up, we'll love to get a roll in. So grab me. Don't be afraid to ask me to roll. I think that's one of the biggest things about these camps. Don't be afraid to ask people to roll.
Yeah. That's been my experience I went to Leuven, not this year, but the year before, and it was great. It was really great.
I hear that's a good one. I might have to try to make that one. I'm tempted. I'm trying not to travel that much, but I'm tempted.
It's really fun. It's really, really fun. If you do, let me know. I'm only like 2 hours away from Leuven. So
sounds good.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, man. I really appreciate it. It's been great.
All right, no problem.
Thanks so much to Nelson for coming on the show, and thanks to all of you guys for listening. Please, if you enjoyed this episode, go to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating and a review. It's a really easy, really simple way to support the show, and it means a lot to us. It really helps the show rank higher on iTunes and other podcast directories. So really, really helpful to us, and would really appreciate it. If you haven't already, go to YouTube and subscribe to the Matrix YouTube channel. We are publishing daily content there for you to enjoy. We have videos of rolling, technique videos, tournament footage, all sorts of stuff. So if you enjoy Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you will love our YouTube channel. We are always looking for more footage for people to feature on our channel. So if you want to be featured on Matrix, send in your footage to matrixvideo@gmail.com. All of the videos and details can be found on our website, which is matrix.com. You'll also find the show notes for this very episode, and anything that we talked about on the show, you'll find it in the show notes over at matrix.com. Thanks again for listening, everyone. I hope you guys had a really great New Year's celebration, and I'll see you soon.